All right, thank you, Lexi. So for our last speaker of the night, we have a JMU alumni who graduated class of 1997 and is currently a director at Cap Tech Ventures. Tonight, he will be presenting his talk about breaking the rules. So without further ado, here is Alex DerHovhannessian.
Good evening. Good evening. Better? All right. Not good. Good evening. Can you all hear me okay? Very good. Well, first of all, my name is Alex DerHovhannessian. In the program, it looks like it's an entire row of letters. My last name is 16 letters long. Any people here seen My Big Fat Greek Wedding? Anyone here? Great. So if you change My Big Fat Greek Wedding to My Big Fat Armenian Wedding, that was my childhood. I grew up in an Armenian household. We went to Armenian school. We went to church every Sunday. The front door was always open with family coming and going. We ate a lot of lamb. I actually grew up in a 3-generation household. So ever since I was, I think, 2, through all of my years at JMU, I had one set of grandparents always living in the same house as us. So if you are Armenian, Greek, or Lebanese, you have a lot of rules as you grow up. If you are Armenian, Greek, or Lebanese, and you have 2 other generations in your household, you have rules on top of rules as you grow up as well. So fast forward, I go to JMU. How's that? Fast forward, I go to JMU. I meet the love of my life. We have 2 wonderful girls, Abigail and Harper, and they are now teaching me how to break the rules as well. So I'm preparing for this presentation. I asked Abigail what rules she follows. She says, always say please and thank you. And our 3-year-old said, always be kind. So hopefully those are the 2 rules that we will go with as we start forward here. So one of the things we are doing, should I change mine? How are we doing? You good? Not good? Try. I don't want to. Can you change mine? Is that better or not? I don't want to stop. Slow it down. What's up? So good for video. Should I start over? No, I can't start over. All right, let's keep going. So we were getting ready to go to a event this weekend, and we went to a jump house. And the rules were on the jump house. Some of the rules were no rough play, no wrestling, no food, play away from others, the sides, the entrance. It's only a 4x4 jump house. So if you play away from the entrance and others, my daughter was standing in the middle of the jump house, not moving, having no fun at all. But I bring this up because I think there are a lot of rules that we can be breaking in life. And some of the rules we'll talk about tonight, hopefully, are things you've learned from your parents, and I'll help you understand why you should or shouldn't be doing those going forward. So the first rule, don't talk to strangers. Everyone heard that rule before? I will say, at JMU, we do a phenomenal job of not following this rule. As a JMU alum, we say hello to everyone we walk by. I was a very big student ambassadors here, and as I gave tours, all the students would stop and say hello. But our generation is so stuck on our phone, right? So as you walk from class to class, you're texting, your earbuds are on, and you have no idea what's happening around you. My encouragement to you is instead of saying, don't talk to strangers, talk to almost everyone you meet. From a janitor to a person walking down the hall. I can give you many examples. I was actually in a office building and said hello to a gentleman. He was actually the president of an insurance company. I worked for that insurance company for many years, and every time he saw me, he always said, keep saying hello to people. That's what makes you different. So again, you never know, especially on campus. You could be walking by the love of your life. You could be walking by someone who will make a difference in your world, or a person you're going to interview with later that day. Look up, say hello, and be kind, and I think that changes a lot. Another rule, don't use the 4-letter F word. The word I'm talking about is fine. So now you've said hello to someone, and they say, hey, how are you doing? This is our most general answer. Fine. Well, I will tell you that is a conversation stopper and not a conversation starter. Instead of that, I would say, it's fantastic. Try it tomorrow. And someone says, hey, how's it going? Say, fantastic. And see how they react. They'll be like, hey, I think I want something, whatever you're having, I'm going to have too. And it changes the entire dynamic. It also continues the conversation. If you ask me how I'm doing, I say fine, you keep walking. If you ask me how I'm doing, I say fantastic, you engage in what I want to do. Another rule. Children should be seen and not heard. Growing up Armenian, I heard this a lot. But I will also tell you that each of you has a voice. As we heard from some of our earlier speakers today, be seen and heard wisely. So I'll give you an example here on campus. It was 1994, 1995. I was a sophomore at the time. And again, we didn't have social media like we have today. So a professor walked in and said, ladies and gentlemen, they have just eliminated physics from our entire university. The president and the board of visitors has eliminated physics. I said, what? That can't be right. That doesn't make any sense. The faculty was up in arms. The students were literally gathering on the quad in some weird sense. And so a fellow JMU ambassador, Sean, and myself met on the quad and said, what should we do? I said, why don't we go talk to Dr. Terry? Okay. So we walked into Wilson Hall. We walked in Dr. Terry's office and said, is Dr. Terry here? And I remember the secretary said, do you have an appointment? And he said, no, but we can come back. I said, well, have a seat. For the next 2 hours, Dr. Carrier not only sat with us, but he explained exactly why the decision was made. He explained the history of the decision and what we could do to help the university with getting that decision out more broadly. Again, we listened to these children to be seen and not heard. I would have never walked into Dr. Carrier's office unannounced and then spent the next 2 hours with him learning more about what this decision was. I'll also say that also set the stage for an amazing relationship and mentorship with Dr. Terry and time and education that I would have never gotten in the classroom. Walk the walk and talk the talk. Well, we all listen to that as well. But I'll also tell you should probably focus on verbal, vocal, and visual. So, Albert Mahariam in the 60s and 70s did some research on this. So if you take my speech tonight and you put it on the tablet and just read the words, that is verbal. If you then listen to me, that is vocal, my intonation. And visual is how I present myself. So, ask the question, how much do you think people's perception of you is based on the words that you're saying? 40, 50%? Less than 10% of the things that people think about you are based on the actual words that you say. But think about it. When you're preparing for a speech, all you do is you make sure those words are perfect. The majority of people's perception is not based on the words, not based on how you say it, but how you present yourself when you say those things. So instead of practicing and writing down the speech perfectly, get in front of a camera, get in front of a mirror, and present yourself in a better way, and I guarantee you'll have a better result. Start your homework. My 5-year-old in kindergarten, she has homework. And I find myself saying the same thing. Abigail, you started your homework. She said, yes, Ed. And then we check the box. We're a nation and a society of starters. What I'd like to say is, instead of start your homework, finish what you started. We have New Year's resolutions. We just hit January. I had a resolution in January. By February, it was gone. So instead of starting new things, starting making a list of all my goals for the week, make the goals of how to finish the things from last week. You'll feel better, you'll feel more accomplished. You'll also get more done, because you won't be starting as many things. Now, my wife will tell you, if she were sitting here, that there are many things I've started around the house that I haven't finished, and I own that 100%. But I'll also say, the more that you make a list of things to finish, the more you'll find the finished things as well. Can't do that. Again, you have children, or if you have professors, or you have individuals in your life, you're always going to be told you can't. You've heard earlier from a presenter about things that she couldn't do as well, or that are preventing people from doing things. I would say, don't take that. Define your destiny, or it will be defined for you. Right? So, let me talk about May 6, 1954. Before many people in this room were even born, there was a very important event. And that was the 4-minute mile by Roger Bannister. So before May 6, 1954, there are many people that said the human body, humans can't run a mile within 4 minutes. Can't be done. Roger Bannister broke that record on May 6, 1954. 45 days later, the record was broken again. And now, in 2018, 2019, over 1,500 people, either as a part of a race or part of a relay, have broken the 4-minute mile. So why do I bring this up? Did something miraculously change on May 6, 1954? No. Once someone accomplished something, though, everyone else fell suit. Everything else fell into place. So once you move the needle, once you break the glass ceiling, once you change the way you do things, others will change behind you. And you'll make a bigger impact than just the one thing that you thought you were doing. What you did makes me angry. Again, with 2 girls at 5 and 3, I hear this all the time. She made me angry. She made me sad. Or he made me. And I'll tell you, you really have a choice. You choose how to react to things. So I've always said that it is a choice. Nothing ever makes you angry. You choose to be angry or happy based on what happens to you. Right? We all have a choice. If something happens to us, it's our choice how we react. So I'll talk a little personal story here. Last year, we ended up not doing a holiday card. It was 2018. I started the year in a brand new job. All right, I started the year in a brand new job. We moved 3 times. So we actually had 3 different residences. We moved from one house, we moved into a temporary house, we left some of the furniture behind, we took some furniture, and we built the house, and we moved again later that year. Are you doing it for me? Thank you. That's great. Perfect. I had 2 procedures that allowed me not to pick up more than 10 pounds for 30 days. If you have children at home or anything else, or even your backpack, that's 10 pounds. So I really couldn't even take my laptop. I had to do the work. I had to take my laptop individually. 3 addresses I've already talked about. My brother passed away in August. My brother had been battling cancer for many years. He passed away in August. Coincidentally, the weekend we actually moved into our final house was the weekend he went in the hospital and passed away a few days later. We got through all of it. In a new house, things were positive. We're getting past my brother. And lo and behold, our daughter, who's 3 years old, begins having issues. And she then spent 25 plus days in the ICU, having 3 neurosurgeries. And they don't teach you that in Parenting 101. They don't teach you how to drive your responsive daughter to the hospital. They don't teach you how to be divided as a family and have your wife stay with her while you take care of your parent, while you take care of your other child. By the way, yes, while we were in the hospital, both our cars were hit. So actually, both our cars ended up being in the same collision shop at the same time. Not our fault, and everyone was happy and fine. Still, it was an amazing year. Why do I say that? Because there's a choice in me. In ICU, there were many of my daughter's friends who didn't come home from the hospital, whose parents were told, your children aren't coming home. We have a very healthy child who came home from the hospital, who is doing much better today. So why do I share this? Not to say, oh, woe is me, but to say there's lots of things that happen to all of us each and every day. And how we react to those, and how you react to those, will not only define you for today, but will define you going forward as well. Join the best company possible. Many people have heard that from their parents, right? Go out and join a great company. Well, I'll tell you, I've had the pleasure of working for some amazing companies. But I'll also tell you, you shouldn't find the best company, but find the best boss or leader in a great company. Because your boss and leader and mentor will not only make or break your experience, they'll also position you for success. I'll give you a great example. We were 3 years out of school. We were doing some consulting work at a major brewing company in the United States. And the partner at the time said, hey, Alex and Scott, who was a colleague of mine, I want you both to present to the CEO tomorrow. I said, what? Said, absolutely. I believe in you. The CEO would love it, and you need to deliver the message. So we literally presented to the CEO and 13 vice presidents about all the things they were doing wrong as a company. Please note, 3 or 4 years out of college, telling the CEO and the vice president what they were doing wrong. CEO, the vice presidents were appreciative, and we ended up working on that project for the next multiple months, implementing some of the things we had found as part of that research. That would have never happened if I didn't have a champion or an advocate that says, hey, I believe in you, and you should do this yourself. Do unto others as you would like them to do unto you. Again, I grew up in the Armenian church. I was a deacon. I believe in this golden rule, and we should all live by this golden rule. But I would also tell you, we should change the rule a little bit as well. Do unto others as they would like to be done. And why do I say that? In our society today, we have two views, our view and the other view. And we're not meeting people halfway. Think about if you enter a conversation and you meet them where they want to be in that conversation. Think about if you give a presentation to a CEO or a presentation to a CFO. That conversation is very different. And if you deliver the same message to both, the message will be lost. If you deliver a message every time from one point of view, you're never going to make a connection with the people that you want to make a connection with. So finally, what am I saying? Saying break the rules. I'm saying define your destiny. And hopefully if you do those two things, you can change your world. Thank you very much.